Spider's back! I better get rolling! That's Stella Atlantic. My next session I'm going to talk about also what's going on in Halifax with the 10th CFL franchise, the Atlantic Schooners. I got a few updates I can give you. I'm going to do a whole session on it. But this session is going to be on, hey, I was out west. I was out west. That was a surprise. Okay, there's my son and his beautiful wife. I call, her name is Sydney, but I call her Cinderella. And my son, Timothy. That's, hey, we're going to the Stampeders home opener for Father's Day. My son bought me, imagine, 3 of us bought all the tickets for Father's Day, gave me a beautiful card. I broke up crying at their beautiful home in Calgary. And so when I read it, I choked up, you know, cry like a baby because I love my son so much, and he's got a fantastic new wife. They were, like I said, they were over to Greece and got married and went to Italy. And anyway, they're an ideal couple in my eyes. I love them both dearly. And anyway, we had a lot of fun. I got a couple more pictures here. But I'm wearing my SPYDER CFL Red Zone roll, so we wore both, and my son and I. Sydney wore the Stampeder sweater. I'll show you another picture of them in a minute. I got a picture here of me. Uh-oh. There's me when I'm reading my Father's Day card to my son. You know, it was just a beautiful card. I'm going to put them on my mantle. I love it. It's beautiful. Here's a cool shot. Guess where we're sitting? My son got tickets 1 row. I've never sat 1 row. Imagine. And, you know, they had 21,000 there. You know, it was a nice crowd. The crowd was boisterous and loud. I mean, the Stampeders won and the home opener. And what was great about it, Bo Levi Mitchell got a standing ovation. They did a video clipping on him, a standing ovation, and he played fantastic, really. I hope they win tonight, really. And guess what? See this here? Okay? You can probably see it, okay, around me there. It's around me, like it is now. Okay, I'll tell you all about this in a second. It's pretty cool what I pulled off, you know? Have a little bit of clout. There's some different shots. I wanted to show what Sydney did at the Stamps house, and I'll tell you how we got there, right? The 3 of us for a buffet, a free buffet. I shouldn't really advertise this so much, they'll be all calling up the Stamps house manager and the CEO. But anyway, I deserved it coming all the way from Halifax. I'll tell you about it. Anyway, she did that. That was a great shot. And then there's a beautiful one of those 2. They got their passes. That's just the Stamps house. We had a big buffet. I mean, the drinks were $12.50. Come on, bring the prices of the beer down. You know what? They don't pay hardly. And if it was a draft, they pay 50 cents. Come on, come on. And what do they pay for those? They don't pay, what, $2, $3? Come on. Stop ripping off the public. Anyway, I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man. Anyway, look at this. What I did, the last day just before, I flew in on a Friday and late at 11:30 Calgary time from Halifax. From Halifax, Ottawa to Calgary. It's beautiful going through the time zones with the sunset. It was absolutely beautiful. And so the game was the following Friday, and home opening, Stampeders and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And so I sent 3 emails off, and the last one on the last day before the game, imagine, I got a reply saying, because I try to get 3 free passes, because you got to be a member. There's 800 members, and probably quite expensive to be a member. To get in Stamps house, it's a free buffet. Of course, you got to pay for your high expense, very expensive booze. But anyway, that's how they make their money. But anyway, so the house stamp manager was so nice. I sent him a reply and thanked him so much because I explained, come all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia. My son was season ticket holder for 2 Stampeder season tickets for 16 years, imagine. Okay, he's, you know, and so I just said, come over to Halifax. Is there any way you could give us 3 passes for my son and his newly wife, Cinderella, and his dad, Spider, And my son, Junior Spider, they call him. I went to see him play softball, and they call him that, Junior Spider, with a martini Y, like Spider CFL Red Zone roll. Dad, Senior, on Father's Day tomorrow. That's why he took me to the game. Okay, for Father's Day. Stampeders home opener. Anyway, make a long story short, I got the 3 tickets, got the passes. They had my name, Mr. Spydel, well, of course, Spydel. And we got the passes. What a buffet. Had sushi and everything. Beef, everything you can imagine. It was insane. I gained 100 pounds. Oh my God, again, I gained 100 pounds. Anyway, and then we went into the stadium. And then at halftime, we were back in the Stamps house because we had the pass. And then, and after the game, the kids went on the field. We watched the Stamps house. We went in, and Dwayne Gretzky's band played for an hour and a half. We never left. They were really good. They played a lot of good songs. My son would say, "Dad, what's that song? We heard that song before. What band was that? What song was that?" I named every one of them. Okay, so anyway, that's a scoop on that. And I had a great time and in Calgary and at the game. And I had a tremendous visit for 10 days, and they treated me like gold. They were unbelievable. Cinderella. And she's an amazing cook. She makes everything like homemade. She's unbelievable. She's a gourmet cook, I'm telling you. My God, like I said, I ate so well. We had some good pickled beer. We did craft beer. We had a lot of fun. It was a great time. I love them very much, okay? Shout out to them. They'll be watching Spider CFL Red Zone Roll, okay? YouTube session here. So I'm back. And please subscribe, because I never asked anybody to subscribe. And I just want to thank everybody for watching my videos. Thank you so much. And for Nightcrawler, I showed my son that one. He says, I love your show. And I thank you very much, Nightcrawler. And I think Eric McLeod is a big fan of mine. He wrote something about what I'm going to talk about next, about what's going on in Halifax politically with how they're ignoring the CFL. They don't even talk about with the Mickey Mouse little prefabricated modular thing for the, and it's, I don't want to give you anything away, but I'm going to talk about, but I got some information, and it's because he made a comment. I'll read that comment in my next session. That was a great comment he made. It's accurate too. So anyway, but I'll get into that in my next session. I want to concentrate in this session, right? Because there's things we got to talk about. And what I want to headline in this session is what I saw in week 1, now week 2, what's going on with the Edmonton Eskimos 75th anniversary, and the Elks name has to go. The uniforms look okay, nice to stripe down with the Elks. And by the way, yeah, it looked like the Rough Riders with the logo. I couldn't believe it. Maybe Ambrosie's starting to listen to Spider. They put their and why shouldn't it's professional football, their logos in the end zone? It should be in center field at TD Place in Ottawa too. But the uniforms look great, but you can't have like plain black pants like Hamilton. I think they put a stroke on it. It looked awful. The pants, you got to put the white stripe on the pants. Get with the program, will you? Ottawa, I mean, seriously, come on. But getting back to because I'm headlining this, that the CFL has to give, and the current ownership, private, okay, community ownership, the Eskimos name's got to come back. It's so clear. It's one of the main reasons that nobody is going to the games. Doesn't matter what you do. And by the way, the lower bowl thing and just putting people in the lower bowl, you see there's nobody there. There's nobody there. There were some in the corner of the end zone because tickets are cheaper. Again, Bethel Thompson and the Saskatchewan, they were lucky. They blew that game. I watched it with my son in Calgary on this big screen TV, and they blew that game. They should have won that game. But guess what? You listen to me, CEO, and I told you got to bring the EE back in the helmets. He took the ugly antlers off. And you got to listen to me now, because what happened? It was all before Trudeau's scam crooked election. Randy Ambrosie, he's a radical leftist liberal, you know, and he was in on it. the race card thing, playing the race card thing, and with getting rid of the Eskimos. The Eskimo people they're probably proud they used the Edmonton Eskimos name for football, professional football team. It was all political by Randy Ambrosie and Trudeau, in bed with Trudeau on the whole thing. It was just before the election. That's why they did it, to try to get votes. Well, guess what? You lost all your fans, your Edmonton Eskimos fans, and you'll never get them back until there's a new ownership, and they tell Randy Ambrosie that you have to go, and they're going to bring the Eskimo name back, and it has to happen. They'll get nobody. That's one of the main reasons. Along with one-year contracts, and the Canadian race, along with that, I'm going to get into that and not adopt my rule, and I'll get over that too. I'll get into that too, because my rule is on display in 2024 already, just like Rob Vanstone said. You know, I mean, they couldn't have written a better script. Well, a script's being written every CFL game, and in 2024 too. My rule is on display. It's there, staring them right in the eye, just waiting to be adopted. It's every game. Anyway, the Eskimos name has to come back, okay? And that, by the way, you're doing the 75th anniversary logo okay, that's 75 years ago. Do it once, same with the uniforms. And those old straight lines in the end zone, it looks terrible. Do it once, that's it. Get your logos back. Get the EE back. Don't get rid of the Elks. I would do it now. Chris Jones got to be fired, and everybody's got to be fired. That's on the board. I don't know, or a new ownership has to go in there and buy the team and stop this on its tracks. Bring the Edmonton Eskimos name back. Fire Randy. When I've heard him names, he'd been called online, Dozy and Dozy. I hate to say that, Mr. Ambrosie, but you are a dozy, okay? Because everything you touch is a dud, okay? Your hash pipe rule, you must have been stoned out of your mind and hash when you come up with that, okay? That, as I was at the game, okay, that's why they're missing field goals too with the narrow hash marks. Like still, and they're blaming it on microchips and the phone. No, it's the narrow hash marks. There's no angle to move the ball back and forth to kick it through like it was before. And by the way, they're trying to throw short passes in the Calgary game and the Hamilton game. They get stopped every time. They don't even get half a yard. It's so easy for the defense alignment to go up and tackle them. They don't even get half a yard. They throw it over a shorter distance, get it across, like sideways because of narrow hash marks, but it's awful. They get stopped instantly. And I'll tell you, Ambrosie, your hash mark move is a dud, and you said, oh, it'll reduce 2 and outs. Reduce 2 and outs. It's increasing 2 and outs. Oh, big plays downfield. You kidding me? More 2 and outs doesn't equal more big plays downfield with your hash mark. Like, oh yeah, like it's dozy. Yeah, dozy. That's it. It's dozy, like Endozy. Okay, Endozy. You're dozy. It's a dud. Your hash mark rule is a dud. It's a dud. Okay? Your global initiative with global is a dud too. And you know what you do? Taking away more American players. Oh, if a global player has to be replaced, oh, it has to be, American position. So now it's 9 Canadian starters, not 7. Yeah, and Dozy and Ambrosie in bed with the Player Association. And another thing, okay, your new ownership for the Edmonton Eskimos. Never use that word else. It's a dud and it's down the tubes. And you see, there's nobody there. What is it, 1,000 people, 2,000, 3,000? I don't know, man. Like the Edmonton Commonwealth Stadium is big. There's nobody there. Okay, and the lower bowl thing, until you get rid of the Elks name and bring the Eskimos back, nothing will happen. It will stay the same. And you should be ashamed of yourself, seeing TSN too, not to recognize the issues, the problems, okay, and not sitting down with it and Dozy, who's got to go. The owners, you're to blame for all this too. The Canadian ratio's got to go. The handcuffing Canadian ratio, dictating Canadian ratio, has to go. It's destroying the CFL. It's got to go. And TSN, yeah, you look at your drop back, you're like behind your lens. Look at the drop. Okay, back. Look at it. All empty seats. Is that what you want? Well, guess what? The season's got to be shut down. The Canadian Players Association's got to be shut down. and the owner's got to do it. The new Edmonton Eskimos owner, and bring the name back's got to do it, and they got to get rid of the Canadian ratio and allow the best players to play, including Canadians, Japanese, I don't care where you're from, Germany, wherever you're from, purple, green, yellow, orange, I don't know, okay? I don't care what color you are, all right? The best players play our game of CFL 3-down football, and they play it with not 1-year contracts they have to sign, 2 to 3, guaranteed. That has to go too, okay? And with my rule being implemented, my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule, okay? There's so many advantages to my rule, and it's there every single CFL game. And these horrible 2-and-outs in the red zone, I call them 2-down football stops in the red zone. You know what they result in? More boring, non-eventful, predictable, okay, distasteful, easy chip shot field goals. What would you rather have? And dozy? Would you ever rather have your hash mark that doesn't do nothing, more 2-and-outs, or more, the worst magnified in the red zone, 2-down stops in the red zone, okay, equaling more boring, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goals, or SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule that will put a signature in our 3-down game and on our 3rd down, okay, in the red zone, and give our 3rd down a real purpose and meaning, okay, and the drama, the excitement in the red zone, my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule would be tenfold compared with like it's magnified. It's just like what their players are booing. More 2-down football stops in the red zone, unless you're on the 1-yard line. Okay, I mean 3rd and 1. I meant to say 3rd and 1. And by the way, my CFL Red Zone rule, you can get a 1st down too. The same rules apply. The only difference in a nutshell is that with SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule, rather than more boring, predictable, non-eventful, okay, well, categorize them. 2-down football stops equaling an easy chip shot field goal, okay, like a 10 or 12, or depending where it's stopped in the red zone, slightly outside the red zone, or to have my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule. So every time the CFL team's in the red zone, if the 3rd down's needed, they're playing exciting CFL 3-down football with my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule, okay? Can you imagine that? And by the way, why that's such a fantastic rule is because it will unequivocally will not work with 4-down football. And that's what you have to sell. Okay, I could sell our CFL 3-down game, especially with my CFL Red Zone rule, against NFL football any day. Okay? Right there is a big selling feature with my CFL Red Zone rule. It would not work with 4-down football, my CFL Red Zone rule, but it would work naturally, like it's tailor-made for CFL 3-down football, with 3-down football, my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule, because it's a natural. It's a natural. So, okay, so the team, if they're stopped on 3rd down, it's an enforcement rule, so they got to go for it. The 3rd down's needed, okay, and they still get a 1st down in the red zone, okay, and keep playing. Same with my SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule. The 3rd down's needed, okay. There's only so much room in the 20 yards end zone, right? Right? So they're going to be playing exciting 3-down football with SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule to score a touchdown if the 3rd down's needed. Okay, can you imagine selling a feature like that, a rule like that, the benefits, how you could sell our CFL 3-down game with SPYDER CFL Red Zone rule being like wisely adopted? Okay, it's way overdue. Okay, it would make our game so much better and would fill CFL stadiums and make them soar and roar. Yeah, in the Edmonton Eskimos Commonwealth Stadium too. Throughout the CFL, it would be, the NFL couldn't touch it. You know why? Because 4 downs, it's just too many downs in the red zone. It's too easy. It's a cinch. In their little 10-yard end zone, I call NFL football outdoor arena football. Okay, and that's the way to sell our game against their game. And even brainwashed NFL fans believe that an NFL field is bigger, and that's how brainwashed they are, than a CFL 3-down field. You know what the actual math is? The CFL field is 48% larger. And I was telling the guy sitting by me at the Stamps home opener, a young fan, he couldn't believe it. It's 48% larger. Do the math. Do the math. 65 versus 53, 110 between the goal lines versus 100. 20 yards end zones with 65 wide versus 53 wide with, okay, and then the NFL had 10-yard end zones. Do the math and go, calculate. It's 48%. It's almost 50%. It's a big selling feature. And that's why my CFL red zone rule is so, you know what my CFL red zone rule? There'd be no short little passes with the little narrow hash marks, and you can't even get you can't even get a foot, and they're stopped like that, smack. It's because of the ridiculous narrow hash mark mode. They wouldn't be throwing the ball sideways. They'd be throwing it vertically downfield, big plays. And you know why? Because they want to get in the red zone and play with SPYDER CFL red zone rule. That's why. Okay, knowing that, here's another big feature of my rule in a nutshell. Okay, knowing that if they're stopped on third down, still maintaining possession of the ball, okay, they still get to kick SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick from the 35, you add the 7 from the 42. Can you imagine that for 3 points? And it's not 4 downs, okay? 4 downs, you know what a down is. You can run the ball, throw the ball, okay? Kick the ball, toss the ball behind the line of scrimmage for, you know, toss up to a running back. You can do numerous things with playing a full down, a football, okay? It's no such thing with my CFL red zone rule. It's enforced. Okay, just like my CFL red zone rule is enforced in the red zone. And okay, with the 35 add the 7 to 42, it's an enforcement SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick that get rewarded if they maintain possession of the ball in the red zone and they're stopped in third down, not pushed outside the red zone in third down, because my CFL red zone rule is an enforcement rule. So they have to come up with something because it's an enforcement rule. Okay, so they're rewarded because unless they are forced outside the red zone in third down, okay? You imagine they don't get SPYDER CFL red zone rule. That's how exciting my CFL red zone rule is. And it's not only hugely exciting and full of drama and full of excitement offensively, from the offensive point of view of our 3-down game of football, but defensively as well. It's just equally as exciting because they can come up with 2 huge defensive stops. One, on third down, with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule, to stop CFL team with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule, playing exciting CFL 3-down football, to score a touchdown, the third down's needed. Hey, they don't score a touchdown. But if they maintain possession of the ball, not forced outside, they get SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick, which is a challenging kick, by the way, from the 42 for 3 points. But if they force them outside the red zone in third down, they don't get SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick. That's it in a nutshell. And it's a fantastic rule. And the NFL could not steal it. It would never work with 4-down football, but work naturally, like it's tailor-made for CFL 3-down football. And I'll tell you another good thing, which is a fantastic selling feature, is that 4 down. I was saying 4 downs is just too many downs. Okay, too many downs. All right, and too easy, especially in playing outdoor arena football in the NFL in that little tiny end zone, right? A red zone, an end zone. So it's too many downs, 4 downs, too easy. Playing 2-down football, unless you're on the 1-yard line, okay, in the CFL, and they go for it in the red zone, it's too few downs. 3 downs is the ideal amount of downs that you should be able to, that should be engraved in the rules in professional football. That in the red zone, okay, you have up to 3 downs, okay? Now, in the CFL, they can play with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule anytime they want, but they don't. The only time they play with it and go for it, and they don't get my SPYDER CFL red zone rule kick, that's why that's such a good bonus feature, right? And complementary, right? And compatible with my CFL red zone rule. But they only do that on 3rd and 1 in the red zone, right? And go for it, for a touchdown. Okay, with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule, be way more innovative and full of drama and excitement, both offensively and defensively, and they'd be going for it if the third down's needed every time they're in the red zone. And guess what? At a 54.8%, that's what it is now approximately. In the last few years, I think it's dropped below that since, but it was averaging that. If that's a same average with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule on 3rd down, because it'd be an enforcement rule, so if okay, on the 2nd down, if they stop, they can go for it for 3rd down. 3rd down, score a touchdown, my SPYDER CFL red zone rule. At that average of 54.8%, guess what? There'd be 18% more touchdowns scored in the red zone with my SPYDER CFL red zone rule. 50 more touchdowns. What are selling features? There's so many selling features in my rule. There's 10 big key selling features on my Spider CFL Red Zone Rule Facebook page that you can find, okay? And just unfortunately, you know, in Calgary, I wasn't able, because they only had one open practice for like an hour and a half, not even I think they practiced more than that, but I wasn't just, my son wasn't going to drive me up for that. So I couldn't get my Spider CFL Red Zone Rule brochure to anybody in the Stamps organization. It's unbelievable. And at the Stamps house, there was nobody there after, from the team, coaches, general managers, players, nobody. So that was a downside of the trip. But hey, there was way more upside because I was with my son and his new beautiful wife, Cinderella. And they're a lovely couple, and I'm very proud of them. And they're meant for each other, you know. I love them very much. Anyway, but I had a great trip, and I have to come up with a plan. My blitz, I got my blitz. I know I'm going to send an email to Fire and Logie because he must be seeing this over and over and probably telling the panel, there's Spider CFL Red Zone Rule again and again and again. It's just staring the CFL right in the eye. And Ambrosi, you're jealous of it, and the ego, you know, the egotistical people on the CFL Rules Committee, they're jealous of it too. That's why Steve Arms, the only way it can't be adopted is because they didn't come up with it themselves and they're jealous because of ego. That's exactly what's happening. But is it ever needed? My Spider CFL Red Zone Rule got to be, okay, adopted. It would be the biggest rule ever adopted by the CFL, the most exciting, okay, and most dramatic and most innovative and most entertaining. And of course, the one-year contract's going to go. The Canadian ratio has to go. They got to shut them down. Shut down the Players Association. Shut down TSN even for a season. And the Edmonton Elks name has to go. A new ownership has to bring back the Edmonton Eskimos name, or you'll never have any fans. And your franchise, 75-year franchise, will fold. And other teams will fold. And I know it was a big rainstorm in Ottawa, but there wasn't very many people there at all. Calgary right now have had the best crowd. Anyway, get ready for the next session. Spider, here comes Spider CFL Red Zone Rule on the Halifax Atlantic Scooters 10th franchise for Halifax and the stadium situation. Coming right up, right now. Take care. Spider, here comes